these people are being abused one way or another.
You mean being abused here labor-wise?
Yes.
Being abused back home? I know, but they're the ones who chose to come here.
And they're all funded by communist, Marxist organizations like George Soros because they cannot destroy the United States of America from the outside. All right.
Rob, episode number 19.
19. We got a few more to go.
Yeah. Was until when?
22.
22, and then after that it just goes?
It says that most people who do podcasts don't make it past 22. And when they do, the percentage of it being going on, it just raises exponentially.
2022.
Whatever, man.
All
right. It's 2030, so we can 35, so we could talk about the electric cars that we have to.
Flying cars.
Yeah.
Flying hoverboards. Did you see this new company? They were flying. Have this new flying hoverboard. Each one is worth like I don't know a lot of money right now, like a million plus.
It's just a board.
No, it's like a motorcycle. It's like a motorcycle. You sit on it, you hover through the air, and he goes just like, wow, it's just really from the future.
And they're saying they're looking into, and there's a company out there that's actually starting to talk about making flying drones to alleviate the traffic.
Possibly. I don't know.
So they're going to be drone-like where people can get in them. It's like a taxi, take them.
Yeah, and then the protesters will be with flying.
No, they'll be throwing
drones.
They'll be throwing the cinder block pieces at the drones.
At the cops.
Yeah, crazy,
crazy protests, huh?
Yeah, it's just it's insanity. That's what it is. It's insanity. It's bullshit. I mean, if you do the deep research, you see that a lot of these, because we all know we have to work to pay our bills, and a lot of these people are getting paid by organizations. They say up to thousands of dollars a week
to go and protest.
And to start trouble.
What happens when they get arrested? Do they get bailed out? Do they have a lawyer by these organizations?
I guarantee you that the Soros Foundation and his son, they have something going on to protect them. That's why Donald Trump released all of those January 13th, 6th, or whatever people, because he wanted to show that, they're no different than the people that rioted during Black Lives Matters, COVID, all that shit.
What's your take on this, whatever's going on?
The riots?
No, the immigration thing. ICE.
I think, first of all, the ICE officers are not just using a dragnet like they say. They have warrants for people. And what happens is other people are getting in the way, and now they're getting arrested. They're trying to stop them from getting the people with the warrants, which is the right of the President of the United States. People just need to say, they ask for due process. They're getting due process now. So the liberals are asking for due process. So now they're issuing warrants to pick these people up. And then other people are are trying to stop it. There are peaceful protesters. And then there are the agitators, which are brought in there by the companies like Soros funds. There's a whole list of them.
Yeah.
And
we're going to go over that, actually.
Yeah, and it's not right because they're destroying property. The National Guard was brought in to protect buildings. They weren't brought in for any other reason to try to.
So hold on, they don't snatch up anybody that doesn't have a warrant. Is that what you're telling me?
No. The people that get involved try to stop.
Like the Home Depot.
How do you know? How do you know that?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. But
that's
they
what
go
I
pick
read.
up people from Home Depot? The people that are standing outside, to look for a job.
Yeah.
They pick up those people and they have warrants for them. Today I saw a video actually somewhere in Northern California, so they were picking strawberries, and DHS was then like running after them in the field to pick them up.
Okay, so it is a crime. It is a civil crime to come here illegally. It is a criminal thing if you are deported and you come back. That's criminal.
Yes.
If you are using someone else's ID, if you are using someone else's
100%.
social security number, if you don't have proper identification, it is because you have other people's stuff. And I worked with people like this. it is a crime.
But do you think they should snatch up anybody who's no crime, no criminal history, came here illegally, okay? They've been here for multiple years. I'm not even talking about people who've been here 15, 20 years,
Yep.
okay, who have businesses, they're paying taxes, and their legal status is still up in the air.
Yeah.
Should they get deported if they have no criminal history?
Well, they're getting due process. They're getting picked up, and they're going through the due process. They're not just like due process is do you belong here? What's your ID? You don't have an ID. You know, you're supposed to have an ID on
I know,
you.
but the government knows in the very beginning that they've been here for the past 20 years, and then
Well, then you had 20 years.
I'm bringing an example.
20
10
years,
15 years,
yeah.
5 years. You're
You can't,
right.
You
In
can't
20
go to
years, if you-
Canada and do this. You can't go to Mexico and
You
do this.
can't.
You can't go to China. You can't go to Europe and do this. So why is it that we're the bad guys for doing the same thing everybody else is doing?
It's just I'm not saying we're the bad guys, but this is the only country
Yeah.
in the world that has the most immigrants in the world.
Yeah.
This is the only country, America, United States.
And remember when Barack Obama was deporting millions of them,
Yes.
and not one peep,
Yes.
one peep.
That's
So this
fine.
is an anti-Trump.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah,
Let-
this is an
let them
anti-Trump
deport,
movement.
but in a civil manner. In a
What is
civil.
how is civil when you're going to
You're
somebody's
saying
store?
Obama deported and nobody made a peep about it, right? So that means in some way, shape, or form that was civil. There were no riots. Nobody knew
But
about it.
also,
He didn't. Did he have DHS agents just go grab people from Home Depot?
it's different now because the Biden administration let so many millions
I
in.
get that. I
He
totally get
deported
that.
them. He let them in. Then we have Venezuelan gangs taking over apartment complexes. Probably other
Listen,
illegals.
If you're a criminal, and I'm sure you're on the
Yeah.
same page. If you're a criminal, 100%, your ass needs to be deported. If you're coming here not to, make this country any better
Mm-hmm.
than what it is right now, and you're gonna be a criminal, you're gonna loot, you're gonna break in whatever you're doing, break stores, commit assaults and commit all types of violent crimes or even not violent crimes, white collar crimes. Get out of here. You don't you
course.
don't belong here.
Of course, but 20 years. Come on, you have to.
I know,
You
I get
have
it,
to.
but if a family, let's say an elderly couple, came here, they had kids here, their status is up in the air. Their kids went to college here, they went to school here. They're productive citizens of this country, but their legal status is not all the way there. Should they be deported? I don't think they should be deported. That's my, that's what I'm trying to get.
I don't think that should be the main focus of what's
I get
going
that.
on.
I know the main focus is to have
Because-
a border and a immigration an immigration status here for you to be legal, a protected border, protect immigration laws here. I totally get that, and I'm 100% all for that.
What do you think the main reason why people are not becoming citizens?
I have no clue. I don't know. They want to have. Well, you can have dual citizenship with multiple countries.
Illegals. Why do you think illegals are not becoming citizens?
I have no clue.
Because of the money. It costs a lot of money.
It costs a lot of money to become legal.
Yes, you got to go through the system.
What's-
It's going to cost. I knew a guy that was dating a Thai girl. He was American. She wasn't. She came over here, and he said it cost him like over $6,000 for all of the process to get her.
I get that, but
And then guess what happened?
What?
She left him.
okay, but six grand is not a lot of money.
For you,
No, not for me only. For average
no,
American who works here, who
You
makes
thinking-
$30,000-$40,000 a year.
they're not making that.
Come
They're
on.
not
What are
making that.
talking about?
You
know how
thinking
much
a
these
le-
Home Depot people make?
You think a guy
There
you think
are
a guy
some-
picking strawberries is making that kind of money?
30, 40 grand a year? 100%. Can we Google what's the average strawberry picker's salary here? 100%.
Yeah, these corporations, which I know years ago they said they should go after the heads of the corporations or the people that own these companies that are hiring the illegals, not the illegals.
$14 to $18, 15 in California.
Yeah,
Central
California,
Valley.
California.
Okay, but, listen,
$12
we're talking
dollars.
about California,
Yeah, but
specifically right now.
$15
No,
an
that's the bare
hour.
minimum, and it's not 15 because there's no minimum wages. Well, LA County is much higher.
Okay, I wasn't making. I was working in a restaurant and I was making minimum wage 2 years ago. So you're telling me this guy who's picking strawberries is making more money than I was
Well,
making?
that's what it says.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It really is.
It says California has the highest volume of often. Hold on. California has the highest volume, often peace rate.
Yeah, peace rate.
Peace
How many
rate.
how many
I see.
baskets?
Often peace rate or seasonal hourly wage. So
So if they're working their asses off, probably they say, okay, for every 5 baskets you get $5 full. You know, then they're probably really working harder. They're getting abused. Whether you're sending them back to Mexico, these people are being abused one way or another.
you mean being abused here labor wise?
Yes.
Being abused back home. I know, but they're the ones who chose to come here.
I understand that.
If they're not going back, that means they're not being
Because
abused.
there's no opportunity there. This is from what they say.
And that's another point I wanted to get at.
Yeah.
Imagine these families coming from Latin America, South America, Mexico, okay, all over Latin America, which we've known for years, Latin America, especially Mexico, cartels, crime, poverty, joblessness. I mean, it's been there forever. Corruption, and people come here for better opportunity. And I'm talking again. I wanna reiterate this and
I have no problem with
emphasize
immigrants.
this part that I'm not talking about criminals.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about anybody who comes here and commits a crime. I'm talking about solely about the people who are honest, working individuals who came here to support their families here and abroad, back home. They're running away from cartels. They're running away from crime. They're running away from a bunch of
So
stuff.
why isn't that the problem for the Mexican government? Why is that our problem?
I get that. You're right. It should be their problem.
They just because they don't care because they're just going to go over there. They're all going to go over there. We don't have to worry about it. So once we start worrying about it, maybe their government will get better, and maybe they'll go after the cartels because the fentanyl deaths are down. The fentanyl, stuff coming over the border. Do you know that I was listening to, which if you get a chance, listen to Kash Patel on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I did
Okay?
some of it, yeah.
So they're not even bringing fentanyl here. The Chinese are putting all the ingredients. They're sending the ingredients separately to make these drugs.
Yeah.
And then when they get to the cartels, they put it together. When they get to so they stop that. So now most of the stuff is supposedly coming in from Canada. So now Canada's bringing the fentanyl in.
Yeah.
So my nephew died at 21 years old from fentanyl.
Listen, I get all of that.
Yeah.
You don't have to convince me.
So what do you do?
about
I mean,
that.
it's a clusterfuck.
All
It's a
I'm saying-
clusterfuck. That's all it is.
All I'm saying that if they are productive humans that live here in
Yes.
this country
However,
with a status that is not legal,
Okay,
and
let's
in
go-
the hopes of for them to get a legal status,
let's go back to
I don't think they should be just.
Let's go
snatched
back
up
to
and-
Vietnam,
and
okay?
deported.
Let's go back to Vietnam and say, what was our troops' biggest problem? They didn't know who was the enemy
Yeah.
and who was the friends.
Who was
So,
Viet Cong and-
so you don't know if these people who are working here, hardworking people, are being forced, or whether they are willingly collaborating with gang members or being threatened. We don't know this. It's a big clusterfuck. I
So what
feel
does that mean?
bad.
Let's just snatch up everybody.
I
and
feel
send them home?
bad, but you got to fix the problem. And sometimes collateral damage is necessary.
Okay, if that's the case, when these people are crossing the border, they go through the border patrol.
Yeah.
Border patrol sees them, they identify them, they get their names, they get an address, where they're going, who they're going to, who their relative is. This all is documented. It's not like they just. I mean, there are some who just cross the border, sit in a car, in San Diego, and they just drive to L.A. and the border patrol doesn't find out about that. But 90% of the people that come here and still are illegal go through the legal point of entry,
Yes.
where you're identified, you're documented, you get a case number. Of course, you don't get a status, but the government knows who these people are. If that's the case, if we're so much arguing that, hey, these people shouldn't be here, they're illegal, why are we letting them in the first place?
Well, I think the biggest problem with the illegal immigration is douchebags like Gavin Newsom who create sanctuary states and give these illegals free medical,
I know,
free
but
this, free that, while you and I have to pay for it.
I get that.
Okay,
yes.
so this makes people angry. This is the problem. This is why they stroke they stroke the American people with doing shit like this, so people get angry and like, fuck it, get rid of all of
Okay,
them.
but you didn't answer my question. Why are we still letting them in? Why is the border patrol letting them in and saying, okay, go get legalized? Why? If we are so concerned with legal immigration, why are we letting these illegals?
Are we the ones that we are documenting?
Yes.
I have no problem with that.
No, but we're when you say documenting, we're just documenting the fact that this person just entered the United States. They get your fingerprints. You know, they like take everything, every single information about you, so they know who you are. But you don't become legal. That doesn't mean it. You're still illegal. You come here, okay? They allow you to come to the States.
Of course. Well,
They say, okay, go get an attorney, try to get legalized. Everybody comes with different cases. Oh, you know, I am transgender in some country, and you know they want to mutilate me. That's why I'm coming here.
okay, so
You know,
we have
somebody has some political reasons. Somebody says, you know, the current government, you know, tries to kill me. The current government tries to do this and that. There's so many stories,
Yeah, yeah.
so many cases, and they come here and they try to, you know, become a legal a citizen or be a legal alien with those cases. Why are we letting them in?
because they're going through the process. They're going through the process. Look, we had two Chinese nationalists or whatever they want to call them who were trying to bring in this fungus. Did you read about
Yeah,
this?
I did,
Okay,
I did, yeah.
that would
They got
destroy
arrested.
all our crops.
Farmland, yeah.
Okay,
I know.
and also kill our people because it kills your liver. So what do you do? What do you? I mean, what do we do? We just we got people coming from the south of the border who are coming in. How do we know they don't have
I know,
diseases?
but those people that are being snatched up right now, some of them
supposedly are warrants.
Are the people that came through that legal point of entry that you're saying that, okay,
How many people were arrested in the last since the riots?
I have no clue how many people were arrested.
400.
400, okay.
And all these days, tens of thousands of people protesting and a small percentage rioting. They arrested 400 people.
Okay.
So the media is blowing this all out of proportion. Okay, and that includes, you know, probably some of the illegals they were going after. The ICE was going after. So it's a bunch of
Listen,
shit.
again, I have no problem if they have a warrant for their arrest. 100%, go arrest them. That means they did something that they weren't supposed to.
Of course.
You
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And I don't. Do they have warrants because they're illegals? Just as simple as that, or they've committed a crime?
Well, I don't read the warrants. All I know is that they're going, and then you got douchebag Gavin Newsom calling on the head of Homeland Security, ICE, Tom Holman,
Yeah.
and saying, "Come on, come and get me, tough guy." That motherfucker will smash your face in so fast, you piece of shit.
And all Gavin was able to do is just tweet out and say, "Hey, I'm going to sue you." Okay, so
Yeah, and his approval rating, they say, is down to 27%.
who cares? He's not going to get reelected anyway. This
Yeah,
is his
but he's gonna run
his
for
last
president.
term as governor.
He's gonna run for
I know,
president.
but that's 3 years from now, and everybody's going to forget
Anyway,
about that.
I have compassion for illegal.
That's what I want to understand.
Okay.
Should we be compassionate about this? Should
we
we?
have been.
We have been.
We have been.
Okay.
Okay. So what happens is you go after the criminal element, and there's going to be collateral damage. It's like anything when you're trying to clean something that has been so by the past administration, which they just didn't give a shit. They just let
And
everybody in.
Just to state this as a fact,
Yes.
okay, Trump, from the last 5 presidents, he deported the least amount of people, just to let you know.
course.
Compared, not 5, excuse me, not Joe Biden. So Trump, okay, well, from his first term, actually. From his first term, yeah, absolutely. So Trump, Bush, Clinton, Obama, he deported the least amount of people.
And he created
And
Obama.
No,
Obama.
Trump.
Obama created the cages.
Obama deported the most amount of people.
Obama
Like 3
separated the
million people.
families. He started all these policies that they just. This is all an anti-Trump movement. That's all it is. It's but people with Trump derangement syndrome because he's up what they're trying to do, and what they're trying to do is bring communism to the United States of America.
So you don't think Trump anticipated this?
What do you mean?
Like it'll be this bad? Only 400 people being arrested, and the entire country.
No,
is
because
going crazy
what
right
Trump did was Trump was proactive. Okay, last time he wasn't. Okay, last time he wasn't. He waited too long to bring in the National Guard. If you remember, they were already burning the city down when they brought him in. He was proactive. He stopped this from happening again. We didn't want this to be like COVID, Minneapolis, Minnesota, with weak man. I can't remember his name. Who ran for as Kamala Harris's vice president. Under the leadership like that, they took a whole block of Minneapolis
Yeah.
and they raped people and they murdered and they destroyed property. He was preemptive in what he did. I commend him. And you know what? How many deaths? How many deaths are there?
Where during these protests?
Yeah.
I don't think we have any.
Okay. Well, isn't that a good thing?
That's a great thing.
Okay.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean just because there's no deaths there should be riots like this. This is ridiculous. They're
Well,
crazy.
that's because there are people being funded by groups like People's Protection for the Ethical Treatment of whatever. And they're all funded by communist, Marxist organizations like George Soros,
Yeah.
because they cannot destroy the United States of America from the outside. They cannot get in here. So they have to destroy us from the inside. So they bring these cells in who are coming over the border, or some of them are just United States citizens who will take a check of $2,000 to riot and to throw shit and to tag buildings. It's no good.
Have you been to downtown recently?
No.
I was there.
They destroyed Kobe's murals.
Yeah, idiots. What does that guy have to do with anything, right? Why would you do that? I mean, that guy's like an icon here of L.A., a legend here.
Yeah.
Not only here in L.A., throughout the country, and they do that to him and his little girl. But yeah, speaking of those paid advertisers that you're talking about,
Advocates?
no advertisers. It's a joke. Protesters. Because they're advertising. Right?
Yeah.
They're advertising. Hey, come and riot with us. Come and protest with us. June 14th. We were going over this today.
Yep.
June 14th on Trump's birthday. And also Trump is doing a celebration of U.S. Army's 250th anniversary.
Thank you.
Yes.
Because most media will tell you he's doing it because of his birthday.
Yeah. And they're planning massive protests all over the country.
You can't get this many people involved on election day.
Yeah.
Maybe we should pay people to vote.
Called No Kings Nationwide Day of Defiance.
Yeah.
1,500+ protests through 50 states. And look, that's the map. Look at California. The worst is, of course, the West Coast and the East Coast, all over the place. And Illinois and, where's that, Michigan and Wisconsin area, those areas as well.
So I'm saying that probably Pete Hegseth and Pam Bondi and
but look,
Christine Nome are all getting ready for this. Because if this is what we have now, we have the information now. Let's release all of the National Guards in every state where they plan on protesting, just to let them protest and do not destroy property.
These are the official coalition partners. These are the people who are actually going through these protests. American Federation of Teachers, Black Voters Matter, Common Defense.us, Declaration of American Democracy, Face the Music Collective, what a stupid name is that? Fix Democracy First, Free Speech for People, Indivisible, National Action Network, and a bunch of others. And we did our little research today, and we found out that actually you are correct, that George Soros is funding these organizations. A lot of money is coming from his organization. What's his organization name? I always forget. Oh yeah, Open Society Foundation. Now his son is running that, right? He kind of retired, and his son is the one who's supporting all of these liberal, crazy.
I find this
ideologies,
to be like Trump got rid of Soleimani.
Yeah.
I find this just to be as bad. I used to say this shit years ago, and people would look at me. I said, letting these people bring fentanyl into this country and kill our young people, thousands a week, and that should be an act of war. And then a few years later, Trump's elected again. It's now he's doing it. This man is should be on a terrorist list. He is funding companies to come in here and to start trouble. He should be taken
Who are you
out.
talking about?
George Soros and his
Soros,
son
yeah.
should be taken out.
Yeah, yeah.
They
Soros.
have caused so much shit.
Trouble, yeah.
I'm not saying Maxine Waters or Gavin Newsom or Hakeem Jeffries, those three. I'm saying this man is not in this country, and he is causing havoc. He is causing havoc, and he should be taken out.
You know, they don't only fund organizations like this. They also fund candidates, super left. I mean,
That's fine.
Left-wing liberal candidates.
You can fund candidates. That's fine. But to pay people to go into the street and cause havoc on our shores, and it was just the Walmart woman.
This is wild. A mysterious black truck just passed out all of these expensive bionic face shields to protesters in LA, and the news caught it on camera. I zoomed in and found out this is the UVEX bionic shield. These are not cheap. They're around $45 to $65, and you can't just get them in bulk. But one place that sells them is Walmart. And why is that important? Because there's a new protest being promoted called No Kings on June 14th. And even celebrities like Chrissy Teigen are posting it. And it's in magazines and newspapers. And guess who's behind this message? Christy Walton. That's right, one of the billionaire heiresses, a part of the Walmart family. Now, I don't know why they would be behind that protest against President Trump, but remember, just less than 3 weeks ago, President Trump tweeted about the whole tariff situation, saying Walmart should stop trying to blame tariffs as the reason for raising prices throughout the chain. Walmart made billions of dollars of last year, far more than expected. Between Walmart...
Billions. More than...
Yeah, of course.
When they say billions, they need to understand that each family members is making $10 billion. I mean, this is ludicrous. I think that they're upset because of the tariffs. They're upset. I don't shop at Walmart. I really don't. I haven't. My parents like, oh, you got to go to Walmart and Sam's. Like, I will not support that company because number one, they support human rights violations, environmental rights violations, and global climate violations by making sure all their products, how much of their products are coming in from China. Okay,
like 90%.
Yeah,
maybe.
so I think it's only. I don't think it's that much.
I know, but that thing is also being like kind of already over dramatized because it's being over. They're going back to normal.
Do you know that they also would build, and they did this in Palm Springs or Cathedral City, they build a Walmart, and they get all these tax incentives, and they get all these tax breaks, and when that stuff runs out, a lot of times, if the store's not doing what they want, they just get up and leave.
No way.
And they leave a big empty freaking shell that was paid for by the taxpayers, and now it's an eyesore. That's when I started saying, this company. I'll go to even though Target might be the same thing, I haven't heard anything. I just try not to shop at stores like that. And there's a reason why. I'm not supporting these communists.
Who, the Chinese?
No, the Walmart family.
Can you imagine June 14 if actually those 1,500 protests that are planned, people actively engage in those protests? I mean, look, there's only a few days of protests here in LA. Look what happened. Can you imagine if this gets activated? I mean, this is crazy.
Well, it's up to the government to make sure, like I was saying earlier, just release all the National Guards in every state and just have them protect the areas where they're protesting. I'm not saying get violent. Just protect. Let them peacefully protest. Let them say whatever they want to say and move on. Why are there dots in Mexico? In like near Honduras,
is that Mexico?
See the little blue dots? There's still dots.
They're protesting in those countries as well against Trump.
Well, okay.
Oh, there's one in Colombia, in Bogota.
He's stopping their drug trade.
But yeah, there are.
Rise up, go yourself. Rise up.
But honestly, I mean, look how much money this costs just to make a website to fund all of these ads and newspapers, that girl was talking about, to fund, emails and look, there's in Europe, there's dots in Europe.
And I don't understand the big deal. I mean, this is Trump celebrating the Army's 250th year.
Do you think he's going to do this every year like China and Russia?
No, it's because it's the 250th, but they're making a big thing out of it, and then now they're going, well, he's spending this much money. That let's just move forward. Let him have his parade. I'm okay with it. Have your fucking parade,
okay with it,
and let's stop making a big deal out of it. Let's enjoy it. We got how many millions of dollars does it cost for the pride parades? You know, all these gay parades, which you notice it's not that popular this year. Did you notice? It's not.
No,
You don't see pride flags all over the place.
I've never. Yeah.
How about you, Tom?
I haven't noticed because I've never noticed how good or how good or bad it is. So that's why.
Well, you used to see them all over the place. You do see them in the stadium still, but you're not seeing them like in every store you would go in during Pride Month. They'd have a whole section of pride, and I'm glad I don't have to look at it.
I guess what I'm trying to get at is, you think, I mean, Trump, before he got elected, where did he go? He went to a country where he saw this parade, and it was so inspired by it. He said, you know what, we need this in the U.S. I want to have this type of a parade. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what he's doing right now. I mean, it falls on his birthday, but he's doing the 250th anniversary. You think he's going to do this like every year for certain anniversaries? I mean,
no.
Okay, all right.
I don't. But it's just like I keep saying it. It's all anti-Trump movement. That's all it is. And you don't have to like Trump. You can hate Trump. You can despise him, but get on with your life. Move on. Well, I don't get it. Even what's his name? Elon. Yeah. Elon made it.
Did you see Elon apologized to Trump?
Yeah, he tweeted that he went too far.
Yeah.
Because he's on ketamine and cocaine and ecstasy and all these drugs.
You think he's doing crazy drugs like that?
They already said it. He was doing it during the campaign.
No way.
Yeah, ketamine, ecstasy, right, Tom?
Yeah. Can you pull that? Can we find that? Was there like an official story? Like a news story?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. They were, whether it's been proven 100% factual, but they're saying that he was. And then you look at the guy. Come on, the guy's he's on something.
Oh, Musk admitting. Hold on. Ketamine is a prescription, though. It's a prescription drug under medical supervision to manage depression around once a week. What does ketamine do anyway? He claims he hasn't used it since the
ecstasy, mushrooms, Adderall. He's using
allegations. Those are our allegations. Yeah.
Marijuana. You can't mix this stuff.
Marijuana is okay. I'm okay with marijuana.
No, but you can't mix it. You can't mix Adderall, marijuana, ketamine, all this stuff. It's gonna destroy your brain.
Ketamine is for it's an antidepressant.
I guess I never took it. I never will take it. I never took Adderall. I never take any of this stuff.
Ketamine is a medication originally developed as an anesthetic, but it's also used today for treating depression and pain. There you go. It's known for, so it's like a half Vicodin, half depression.
Is it an opioid? That's what I want to know.
If it treats pain, then I'm sure there'll be some sort of opioid classification.
So so Trump said, he's happy, but yeah.
What do you think is the real reason of their fallout?
What do I think?
Yeah.
First of all, I was moving more towards it was a big scam that they were just doing it.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think somebody in the inside might have turned them against each other?
No.
On purpose?
No. I mean, Elon had to have read all of the stuff when he was campaigning what Trump wanted to do.
Yeah.
He was saying he doesn't want to go full electric car. He wants people to have choice and all this stuff. Yeah. So he knew what this big beautiful bill was going to be.
But I don't think that was the reason, to be honest. Like they had a feud because of the bill, or EV subsidies or things like that.
Maybe it's you know, because we all go through stress and anxiety. Maybe just with all this shit in his head, he maybe went through some kind of breakdown where he saw his company losing a lot of money, and
I think it was two large egos colliding. One of them didn't retreat back, and for sure, I think it was Trump who didn't retreat.
well, they said that he was fighting with Bissett.
The Treasury Secretary.
They said that there was a big shouting match outside the room between Elon and Bissett, and that Elon actually pushed his shoulder into Bissett.
Yeah.
And then there was people saying, well, maybe that's where he got his black eye. I don't know about that, but they were saying that he shoved, you know, a cabinet member that's homosexual. I mean, that could be considered a hate crime, right?
Yeah, I guess if it's a minority group, yeah.
I just gotta say, guys, I don't know why you guys aren't all up in arms about this No King's Day. This for me is gonna be big. You know, not big for me, but big for the United States. Do you remember in 2017, there was those giant no Trump rallies all across the United States?
Yeah.
Giant protest, okay? On top of what's happening here in LA with the immigrants, you know, the Hispanics, the Latinos, throw on top of that a bunch of liberal white women and janky liberal white guys protesting with those people. Now, if you don't think opportunists will go to these rallies and go to these potential riots, it could be bad. It could be really, really bad. Not just in big cities, okay? I'm talking cities like Toledo, Memphis, Birmingham, Alabama. These cities who are predominantly, you know, Democratic, they're gonna go nuts.
Yeah.
They're gonna take the opportunity to wreck their own city and possibly wreck their whole entire community. I don't know.
But you're forecasting something that hasn't happened.
Yeah, I think we've all forecasted things that haven't happened yet. You know.
I think that they're going to. I think this administration, as they just showed you, they stopped this from getting out of hand. I think they're going to. Of course, there's going to be incidences here and there, but I think they're going to keep it under control.
Okay. Do you think Jan 6 was under control?
But Jan 6 wasn't totally anticipated, was it?
Yes, it was, because Nancy Pelosi pulled the Capitol Police and the National Guard.
Yeah. Now imagine this, okay?
So I think the National Guard is going to be there. I think the police are going to be there, and
Well, they know. They know about this.
They
so-
know about this.
Yeah.
Trump has already talked about it. He said, if anybody tries to ruin my parade, you're a threat against America. I can pull up the tweet. I can show you the video of him saying that, okay?
No, I know. Can you pull that up? Actually,
you.
yeah.
hopefully your picture's up in the corner when you're talking, because I get lost. Sometimes he doesn't put it up there, but I
No,
won't.
he does.
If it's not there-
he always puts producer Tom.
Yeah, we got to get something where his mouth moves, like an.
We won the war, and we're the only country that didn't celebrate it. And we're going to be celebrating big on Saturday. We're going to have a lot of, and if there's any protest that wants to come out, they will be met with very big force. By the way, for those people that want to protest, they're going to be met with very big force. And I haven't even heard about a protest, but, you know, this is people that hate our country, but they will be met with very heavy force. Thank you very much.
Now, I agree with Trump. They're going
Yeah.
to be met with force. But I don't want to sound like, someone who thinks the worst is going to happen, okay? But there's going to be more protesters than National Guards at most of these events.
I get it, but these protesters, the only reason why whatever is
you-
happening is LA right now is because we didn't put National Guard troops earlier, like immediately, or put in some Marines immediately. If people were there, I don't think people would loot like this, break
but
into
did that
stores.
stop the protesters from throwing stuff at cars? Did it stop the
No,
protesters?
it didn't. But all those, by the way, now I don't think that will get slower and slower because a lot of them are getting arrested.
Once the Marines got there, that's it. They're not going to with the Marines.
Yeah.
Once the Marines got there,
But
they
there's some people who are dumb enough who are going to F
They
with the
are.
yeah,
Marines.
of course.
know, of
So there's
course.
one or two, not thousands, right? It's like you say, oh, there's more people than the ICE agents, there's more people than the National Guard. there were millions of people who walked into a concentration camp. There wasn't millions of guards. What were there, 25? And
but did those people going into Dachau and Auschwitz, do they have weapons?
what I'm saying is that the
No,
Jewish people that walked into the concentration camps, there wasn't that many German officers there, but millions of them died.
Yeah,
right?
A million did die.
Now, because people are not willing to take a bullet. Are you willing to take a bullet? Are you going to go jump in front of that when the Marines start?
Yeah.
People are going to scatter.
Now,
So I don't think it's going to be a problem.
now, my question for you guys is this. Let's say, hypothetically, this does get out of hand. Do you think there's going to be some good old boy, right-wing guys who are going to say, I'm not going to stand for this, and they're going to show up locked and loaded?
Yeah, and then there'll be racial tensions already after that. It'll be a completely different topic.
But if you look at social media, if you go on TikTok, you go on Instagram, what do they call the Reels? A lot of, I would say 40%, if not higher, of the black men and a percentage of the women are for what's going on.
A lot of immigrants are actually for
And a
for
lot of
what's going
immigrants.
on. It's not
So I don't,
CNN did a poll. I don't know if did you see it? CNN did a poll how actually
fake news.
fake news. They did a poll. No, this is pro-Trump. This is
No,
pro-
I know.
Yeah.
I just joking around.
Yeah. But Tom, you're right. There is a slight possibility it can go crazy. Absolutely. I mean,
I think from
when
the
there's a protest, there's a chance always for something going bad.
I think the experience of January 6th, I think the experience of the BLM COVID riots and protests, I think the experience of Donald Trump being shot at and what's going on right now, I think they're going to be able to contain it, let people peacefully protest, and get rid of the. I mean, I think somebody that's running around with a flamethrower should be shot in the head. I don't think there should be any like, oh well, let's wait to see what happens. He's burning things.
There's one guy was throwing Molotov cocktails.
He should be shot in the head.
He got arrested.
Yeah.
And you know what these protesters don't understand? That when you get arrested by the federal government, when it's not like state, local police, it's like FBI, DHS, Homeland Security. There's completely different type of penalties. It's not like regular, looting. You get arrested and then you're out within, a couple of hours. So this guy that threw a Molotov cocktail, is being charged with attempted murder. This guy's gone forever.
What about the other one that burned the people with the cocktails
Yeah, in Colorado.
in Colorado?
Yeah, I mean the guys, the people who are burning cars, burning flags, throwing rocks. This idiot threw a rock from on top of the freeway on the 101 onto this cop, and thank God he was wearing a helmet, but his helmet like kind of went off. That's how hard he threw, and people can die from that as well. I think that should be freaking attempted murder charge. For that guy trying to kill that.
And these people don't understand, like what you're saying, Joe. If you do try to hurt an FBI agent, a DHS agent, or an ICE agent, this whole California zero bail thing doesn't apply to them.
Yeah, it doesn't apply. You're in federal detention. You're not in state detention anymore.
Well, let's get Gavin Newsom to fight for them so that they can go away free. Because Gavin,
And that's another thing I wanted to mention. You want to protest, go protest as much as you want. Protest peacefully. Be organized, protest in a way that people listen to you. You think the government is going to listen to these people? The more they do crazy shit like this and they become violent, they burn buildings, they burn cars and loot stores, the less serious they're going to be taken. Don't you think so?
yeah, there was a military woman that actually went on the other side,
On the looting side?
on the side with the protesters in her uniform.
Oh, shit.